Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to talk about what does it look like to actually vote? How do you select who you want and how do you make those decisions? So for this video, we're going to talk about what's on the ballot. Now, your first question might be, well, what is a ballot? The ballot is a list of people who are running for a position in government. You can go through this list and you choose who you want to vote for. So what I have on my screen right now, this is the ballot for Nashville and Davidson County. Well, the first thing you might notice is, well, this is a really long list of people and positions. I don't know these people. That's okay. That's what we're going to talk about here. So if we look at the top here, it says state and federal general election. So what that means is we're voting for people both for the federal government, that's the government for the whole country, and for the state government, that's just for the state of Tennessee. Now, let's start with the one that you've probably heard a lot about. And that is the race for President and Vice President of the United States. So notice here it says vote for one. So we can only make one selection here. So if we look at the first option here, we see the name Donald Trump for president and Mike Pence for vice president. Now notice that they're both listed together. That's because in America, the president and the vice president, their names are combined because the president chooses their vice president. Now if we look below their name, we see Republican Party nominee. Remember, in America, we have two main parties. We have the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. So Donald Trump is the nominee for the Republicans, and the second option here, it says Joseph Biden or Joe Biden for president and Kamala Harris for vice president. These are the Democratic Party nominees. Now you might be wondering, well, there's still lots of other options here. Who are these people? And that's okay if you don't recognize their names. So remember, we have the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. These are the two biggest parties in America, but there are also other parties too. But in Tennessee, if you're part of a different party, you get listed as an independent. So yes, there are lots of options here for independent candidates too, but again, don't worry if you don't recognize their names. Now, one more thing, if you go to the very bottom of the list here, you see it says write-in. That means that if you wanted to vote for somebody, but you don't see their name listed above, you can write their name here. Okay, so that was the presidential race. Now, remember there's a lot of other races going on too, not just for the president. For example, we have the United States Senate, and we have all of our options here. So Republicans, Democrats, Independents, all of these options. We also have the United States House of Representatives. So one thing to know is that the Senate and the House of Representatives, these are the people who make the laws. And because it says United States Senate, that means that they make the laws for the whole country. Now, if we go further down, you'll see it says Tennessee Senate. So if you see Tennessee Senate or Tennessee House of Representatives, those are races for people who make the laws just for the state of Tennessee. Now, if you're looking at this sheet, don't be confused. It lists the Senate for District 18, District 20, and the representatives for District 50, District 51. Remember, a lot of this is based on where you live. So when you go to the polls, they will automatically give you a ballot that has the correct options based on where you live. So don't feel overwhelmed if this list looks very long. You won't see all of these options when you go to the polls, just the ones that apply to you. Now, the last thing you see on the ballot is local elections. For example, here it says for school board, and depending on what city you live in, if you live in, say, Belmead or Forest Hills, you can also vote for two commissioners. Those are the people just in charge of the city government. Take a little bit of time and research the candidates who are running for each race, like president, senate, and all of the rest, and see which candidates, which people you agree with most. That way, you can make a list of the people that you want to vote for, and then you can bring that list to the polls so you don't forget. Now, one more thing that I wanted to talk about is the ballot we showed you earlier looked like a white sheet of paper. But when you go to vote, you might be using an electronic voting machine, and that's what these are here. So the colors are different, maybe it's laid out just a little bit differently, but all of the options are still there. All right, I know that was a lot of information, so thank you so much for paying attention. Now feel free to watch this video or our other videos again if you're still confused. Elections in America are very important, so make sure that you understand how you're going to vote, plan who you're going to vote for, and be comfortable with filling out the ballot. Thank you, and go vote.